Yes, ma'am, we are live now.
Okay, okay. Then we'll begin. Yeah? Okay.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Dil Ki Baatein with me, Gouri Dange, where we talk about, for this 1 hour, we will talk about various matters close to our heart: love, families, relationships, aging, finding relevance and hope, dealing with change, learning to change, and other such dynamic issues that are part of the world of seniors negotiating our lives from our 60s onwards. We've had a varied topics that come up here via the questions that come, including grieving over the loss of a spouse, grieving over the loss of a family member, finding relevance post retirement, making new pathways to find relevance every morning when you wake up after retirement, intergenerational issues of trying to understand and be understood by your children or by your super seniors, if you have seen it, super seniors in your life. What else have we tackled here? We've looked at uh, things like dating in senior. Last week we talked about dating in a second innings. We've got a couple of times questions about people looking to get involved again with somebody, either after a divorce or a bereavement of the loss of a spouse, और उसके साथ क्या क्या जो डेटिंग कैसे बहुत ही अलग चीज है when it comes to not teenagers, not youngsters, but in the senior world. In fact, one person who wrote said, I don't like to use the word dating because we are too old to use the word dating. But here some of us want to get involved with other people. And it was interesting last week to hear the perspectives of some of the participants who were clear that they didn't want to get into it, but who gave their inputs on what kind of things we have to look out for if we are going to enter the world of relationships, romantic relationships again in our 60s onwards. So these are some of the themes that come up every week. We have the theme today, and then at the end of the show I will tell you the theme for next week, so people can think about it themselves, go back to when they may have dealt with the same issue. This today's theme is about senior living facilities, senior homes that are coming up in many places and are being advertised, and how to decide whether this is an option for you. So I'll read out the question that has come. It is from Vasu K. It says, hello Gauriji, our son and daughter both live out of India. We are 66 and 70 years of age. Both our parents lived till they were in their late 90s, and we took care of them, though it was quite challenging sometimes on them and on us, especially with house help, nursing, etc. Now our children are suggesting that we ourselves consider shifting to a senior living place, as they may not be able to be there in this way for us, how we were for our own parents. Migrating to their countries for us is not an option, and we are happy to visit them and return. India will continue to be our base. When our children brought up this topic, my wife was shocked with the idea of senior living at first, and all her friends discouraged her, saying she will feel trapped there. However, she has been looking at some brochures and has not vetoed it completely. I personally am open to the idea, but not sure about it at all, he writes. How do we go about exploring this without just jumping into the situation? This is what Vasu asks. So, in a certain way, we can, some of you who were present for the thing about downsizing and uh, reducing your spread of your household, your finances, your possessions. We had one question about that some time back, and in a way this is kind of linked to that, because it is to face this question is to face the fact that life as you know it and have been used to is changing, and the demands are changing of you. And if your children are suggesting this, uh, first of all, let's look at some of the extreme जो एक misconceptions जो बोलते हैं ना about it, कि जैसे पुराने फिल्म्स में बताते थे कि वृद्धाश्रम यानी जहां किसी को somebody has been abandoned, कि इसका कोई नहीं है, इसका लड़का इसको देखता नहीं है, ऐसे circumstances में किसी को रख लिया. The situation is vastly different today, vastly different. So the misconceptions that if you go to a senior living facility, you lose control of your life, or there is a certain helplessness and that's why you've gone there. That I think is something, whether Vasu decides to go or not. But all of us must look at this carefully, because most people have a very instant reaction. Oh, thank God, I don't want to do that. Or, oh, good thing my children will never push me into it. There is no pushing. There is no necessarily going against your will to such places. And from Vasu's question, we understand that he sees this as a possible way forward of his living circumstances. So there are concepts and there are misconceptions about old age homes, as they used to be called. Nobody calls them old age homes, because the home is also the feeling of being abandoned, or where there's no other choice and you are just taken. Or ashram, they use the word vruddhashram. It is as if you've been given some sort of refuge. आपको पनाह दी गई है यहाँ पे. It is now assisted living is far from such a sense of helplessness. It is an option. It is a choice sometimes. And it is something we should really, I salute Vasu for not immediately taking it in the wrong way, his children's suggestion. Because you see, his children have seen the kind of care needed by the grandparents, which Vasu and his wife could give, but at quite a cost to themselves. And they realistically feel, living in two different countries, how will they provide this kind of care? And is this other place an option? And this, the word that her friends have said to her, ki, you will feel trapped. Now, this is a very feverish kind of, बिना सोचे सोच समझ के बोलने की बात है, the word trapped. In no senior living facility is there, is anybody under lock and key. There is no, it's not like a strict hostel where you can't come and go as you want. You could come and you're not answerable to anybody. And there is no trapped as in rules and regulations which are counter to how you have lived. So this word trapped, I myself take issue with this word, that it's a word to just being thrown like that, trapped. So that is one thing I want to say here. And are these people who are advising or immediately responding, are they people who have even stayed in such places? So where is that coming from? For such important decisions, we have to be careful कि वो एक कहानी थी ना, एक छोटा a young boy और उसके ग्रैंडफादर चल रहे हैं, और एक डोंकी पे बैठा है और एक चल रहा है, और every passing person is giving them counter advice. One is saying if the young boy is sitting on the donkey, he's saying, "Are shameless, let your father sit, let your old grandfather sit." And sometimes if they see the grandfather sitting, they'll say, "Look at this old man sitting, and that poor child is being dragged along. Get down and let the child." Be careful of not being trapped into people giving advice just for the sake of giving advice. So first of all, who you will discuss these things with is important. Instead of just floating the idea and then getting very confused with people who are not thinking necessarily for you, but only projecting their concepts onto this question. So that is a word of caution. Okay, आप सोच समझ के बात करना किसी से जो खुद सोच समझ के आपको कुछ एडवाइस देगा. Also, I wish there was a way to test run these places. कि वहाँ 3 महीने रह के देखो. That's not so easy. Also, you don't get to these. There are a lot of facilities coming up, but they're not. Many of them are not complete. They're asking you to book, and you'll move later. It's quite difficult to get into one bana banaya place. So the day we decide ki, okay, I'm going to try this out, will not be the day you get to, or the month that you get to move. It has to be planned. It's not easy to just say, they're not lying vacant, is what I'm saying, whether to buy or to rent. One has to be part of the ecosystem, get to know, make the decision. So it's important to give it thought, but it's important to know कि उसमें भी एक timeline है. The whole facility is not there for you that मेरे तरफ से मैं हाँ बोलूँ तो वो मेरे को मिलने वाला है. Not necessarily. That we have to also remember. What are some of the obvious pros of senior living facilities? One is, of course, the safety factor. You hear about a lot of crimes against old people, house break-ins, all of that. Besides that, you also hear about people falling on their own, not having somebody to. One second, there's something that I need to put off on my phone. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Safety issues, whether it is to do with things like people taking advantage of of old people at home, or just falling, minor accidents, leaving, simple thing. Many of you may have experienced it. You feel you've put off the gas, you've made yourself coffee, you feel you put it off, and 45 minutes later there is a burnt patila and there's smoke. And so those things as we age are definitely, if you have some check and balance yourself in your house, that you'll go and check, or you have a smoke alarm, that is one way. But these are issues that whether you live in assisted living or on your own are safety issues that everybody, yourself and your well-wishers, are concerned with and cannot be ignored. Okay, you cannot say, 25 years I've lived in this place, nothing's going to happen to me. No, you are aging, the place is aging, that too. What is the other advantages? Of course, they have, in such places, they have monitored environments, that, there's also quick response for any emergency. There is regular health checkups. If you tend to be lazy about, taking your BP, getting it, it's a question of just going downstairs and getting it checked every week. Making a lot of the facilities are brought to you, including entertainment. So I must tell you that I want to tell Vasu also, I'm currently trying out. I have rented for 1 year, a place, in fact, in a senior living facility. So some of this I'm speaking from experience, some of it from the experience of others, that they will also literally curate things that are happening way outside in the city, where nowadays you may be reluctant to go. But a play that is happening there comes right there, or a music program comes right there, a talk. Sometimes, a musician comes in. They're curated by people within the facility. So lots of stuff comes right to your doorstep, which you may feel lazy about going and doing. Libraries. There are libraries in these places. Which of us have close access to libraries nowadays in where you stay generally? The circulating library is gone, and libraries themselves are shrinking. These places have libraries, they have little viewing rooms, you watch something you like. The opportunities for socialization are high. Medical support, of course, and reduced home maintenance. It's a big one. Suddenly, it's not your problem if the corridor light is gone, or, some building society in which you live, where we all experience this, where nobody's doing anything. Everybody's pushing the work on each other. And you're wondering where your maintenance money is going. In these places, it's very much part of the facilities given to you. You will not be the one who will be, 24/7 tottering onto a stool or calling somebody and saying, come here, mere idhar ka light gaya hai. All those things. Reduced home maintenance is a large thing to it. Now, somebody will say, if Vasu and his wife are 66 and 71, isn't it too early for them to shift? On that count, I feel like we talked about the reducing and downsizing your home as you age. I feel at 85, when you are possibly much less mobile and much less healthy, at that time to move to a facility like this can be you're not equipped for change. Well, if you move early, you'll make your, um, contacts, you'll get used to the idea, and then slowly ease into when you really need assistance. So one big thing in such places is that if there is a full-time assistant, if somebody needs, um, and that person can't come that day, another person is automatically sent. While as we've all experienced with our own parents or with ourselves, that if that 6 o'clock lady doesn't come, then what do? Then somebody's running around, calling up the bureau, asking for another one. So some of this stuff is, you're eased into it if there is such a need. Even if right now they're both he writes that they are fairly fit. Again, that misconception that only those who can't manage to live at all alone land up at senior living facilities, that myth has to be also debunked. It is not that way. It is just steadily moving into an easier way to live. Now, let us look at what are some of the, so some people say, but if I live in a compact facility like this, it's not a hostel, it's a flat. But what happens when my children visit from America, in his case, wherever they are? Where will they stay? I have a bigger house. What will they do? So a lot of these senior facilities have guest rooms. You book them in advance and they are just down the corridor. And your son or daughter and their big bags from the US and UK can all be in that room, and you all can spend all day together. You can eat. Cooking facilities, cooking food is available, again by choice. This trapped word that these people have used, nobody's forcing you to eat roj yahi khana padega. You could do a mix of some amount of home food cooking, some eating out, some visiting friends, some eating here. The socialization part, another thing that a lot of people fear is, so I have to drop all my friends and suddenly make brand new friends post 65. And what if I don't like them? And what if I'm trapped in that same place with them? But I think the plus, it cuts both ways. If you have moved from, say, somewhere far off and here, and you have a banaya social setup. There are all kinds of groups, there are all kinds of subgroups, interest groups. And if you are moving within your own city, nobody's stopping you from meeting your friends, calling them, going over, and having friends in the facility too. So I feel that is a completely a non-issue of people saying, "Arey, suddenly you're sitting only with depressed old people who you don't know at all." It is not at all like that. It is not at all like that. So it is what you make of it. I know some people who say, I have everything needed here, within and outside, downstairs, chemist, this, that. I don't go into the city. And there are some people who use the facilities, pick up, drop, bus service, and continue their life exactly as it was before, but lighter. It's really what you make of it. I would like to emphasize this for Vasu. And that your children suggest this, not as a way to shrug off their responsibilities. I'm very sure of that. It's a construct that has been built. Maybe it's true for a small percentage of the population, but I think we have been fed a lot of very negative stories by the films where and that may be true, of course, as I said, it applies to some of the population. Elder abuse, elder neglect, elder abandonment, all exists. But when you're talking about a senior living facility and a son and daughter who are saying we could help you transition, they may help them money wise, or they may not need to, whatever it is. Let's look at what are some of the concerns, not exactly cons, but what are the concerns. One is, of course, cost. A lot of these places may end up costing to buy or to rent more than the outside market rates, maybe. And yet you will find so many things on which you have reduced your expenditure because you've moved to such a place. So that is one thing. The arithmetic, the maths you need to do of what your current living situation will get you, were you to sell it and buy in this place. That privacy, people again, without knowing much of it, there's this fear that there's no privacy. In some living facilities, they have people sitting in the suppose this is the 5th floor. On the 5th floor, there'll be a male attendant, female attendant, just sitting out on the bench to be called if they need to. All of them don't have it. And actually, the privacy part of it is, again, up to you, how much you want to, mingle with the people who are there and how much you don't. If you want to be private but unsafe, that is a problem. Suppose you say, I don't like people, I don't want anybody checking in on me, I don't want, that could be a hazard even if you lived in your own apartment. It's something that needs to change, whether your attitude, whether you live in assisted living or whether you live on your own as you age. We can't hang on to our privacy at the cost of our safety, is what I'm trying to say here. So another thing is, of course, an adjustment period, that it takes some people time. And yet I see it takes people, even they thought it will take time, but they're suddenly divested of so many householder responsibilities, that they make the shift very easily. Given the question of how to decide, so of course you look at the pros and cons generally of this pattern of living, but you then also have to examine closely the ones you are looking at, which are your choices. Now, if you decide to, I'm not meaning this at all in any parochial, communal, caste, creed way. But one of the things you must look at is whether, if you like cosmopolitan living, you must go and see if it is particularly only one language group largely that lives there, or is it a more cosmopolitan place? Are there people from all over? This is something you would need to check. I do know that some people complain in other states, in this state too, that if you don't speak that language, you get left out of things. It's like a big extended, club of that particular language group. This could be a concern which you can look at. Equally, I think there are more cosmopolitan places, but this is a thing to keep in mind. The other thing that to assess your individual needs. What do I individually need? Am I okay with this kind of food that is being served? But the other options are plenty. Okay, then this is not the kind of food I eat. I like to in the night have, say, soup, salad, cutlet. Find a system which brings you that. That's all possible in all our cities now, to get the food that you want. Then you don't necessarily pay for what is the food that is offered here. You may do combinations of it. The breakfast suits you fine, so you're not getting up and trying, opening the door to somebody to come and cook for you, or standing at the gas and cooking for breakfast. All of this, and then lunch, you may do something else. But you need to look at your assess your individual needs in a place like this and how the two match. So location, considering the location is very important. For instance, I'll tell you about my thing. I'm quite close to where I used to live. And yet, it's not a look. Inside is wonderful. All of the facilities are great, but the outside is not a well-managed municipality or even the laws, the construction laws. So I'm personally not terribly happy with the outside. Whether I'll make my peace with it or whether I'll do something else after a year of trying this out is another thing. So location, you need to research the location. Simple thing, is it close to a lot of these facilities? पहले तो they were built कि कहीं quiet जगह पे, hillside, out of the city somewhere. Now most cities are kind of, growing around these places. So you may not have the uh, quiet and absence of dust and pollution that you would expect in a senior living facility. So keep that in mind. So you need to research, you or your children need to research. What is the resident culture? What are the facilities? You have to compare some of the amenities. What is the staff like? Get a sense of that. If you can, you talk to current residents, meet them if it's possible. Look at the Take a look at the contract. If some of the facilities are not outright buying, there's some kind of renting stuff that some of them offer. Look closely, or have your children look closely at the contract, how that works for you. So I feel it's the kind of homework तो करना पड़ेगा. Homework करना पड़ेगा कि अगर ये and the homework cannot be WhatsApp uncle and auntie के opinions, frankly. The homework has to be real. It can't be today you meet somebody who says, eeks, no, thank God, I don't have to do that. Or somebody who says it's great, it's the way to go, jao tum, pushing you at a pace faster than you are. So your homework is uh, not to get confused, but to very systematically look at what is on offer and what you will have to leave behind and what you will gain. Why I'm saying homework? कल को maybe Vasu will decide against it. Maybe he'll say not yet, not yet. मैं देखता हूँ. Or he may say, no, this is the right time, because then this is the time I'm all there and I'm all able to take my decision and nobody has to hold me, as we say in Marathi, dandala dharun. Hold my arm and say, chalo, now stay here. You are a danger to yourself. Before all that, I'm walking myself to this situation. Whatever he decides, पर homework करना पड़ेगा कि what it will take. Look at the also the what is it called, inheritance law, meaning who do you sell to? Is it easy for your child after you to sell this place as an asset? Is it a good asset or not? Sit and talk about all of this with people who are either staying there, or your children might be happy to visit multiple facilities, compare them, amenities, all of that. So location, one of the things is also to choose a facility that you are fairly familiar with. There are people who have lived all over India, say, or have lived abroad and are coming here now to a senior facility, who don't care about, they are making a complete break and coming, literally being parachuted down into a completely new place. And they will roll with the punches. जो कुछ friendships होंगे, everything, it's like you have now migrated. Some people move like that. Either they have to or they're happy to move like that. That is one way of considering the location and evaluating it. And the other one is whether you want to have an easy connect to simple things, like if you still drive a car, then your car mechanic or your ये करने इस्त्री करने वाला. But to start with, it doesn't then feel as if you've made a big jump. The other thing about when we talk about managing change is to also accept that you will have to find and make a few new systems. Nobody's guaranteeing that you will be lifted like this and then placed like that without feeling the change. That's I mean it's something everybody dreams of, but we all know that doesn't happen that way. Any change. one more thing that I was thinking about, what people tend to do when they when this is put to them, when this uh, what is it, choice is put to them, is to also worry about being forgotten by existing friends. And there are existing friends who will say, what? You moved to an old people's home. They will keep on calling it old people's home. Move to an old people's home and feel that they can't, your life and theirs has now diverged. So be it. You must be ready to understand that then that is a person who is not not there fully because of you, not in that friendship fully because of you. Is a person who's burdened by their own concepts, by their own misconcepts. So there is going to be uthal puthal about this decision. But I feel if you arrive at it without one is of course panicky decisions. Oh my God, this means my time is up. I'm going to have to go to jail. That kind of panic and awfulizing, what we in counseling call awfulizing, to awfulize the situation, to avoid that kind of awfulizing. And the other thing is to not see it as some kind of um, rejection from the younger people in your life, that they are, in Marathi we call it malagundalunta, meaning they're just being wrapped up and put somewhere. Not true, not true. At least in Vasu's case, the way the children have approached it is keeping in mind the background of the kind of uh, background of the grandparents, keeping in mind that they are saying maybe now we need to move into another way of aging, another cache of resources while we are aging, you know. So this is an important thing to how you respond to this, how we are going to respond. All your homework, your research, your finding out, you're discussing with each other, all of it can get tainted यानी उस पे एक धब्बा. If you approach it with this दिल पे पत्थर रख के करेंगे, then nothing will seem right. Everything seems like you're being led against your wishes into some next stage of your life. I find that the debate about this, the discussion, somehow is always very black and white, and it does not need to be. It can be gray. We are all going gray. It can be gray conversation where there are gray areas. It's not all good or all bad. I'm just surprised at how childishly a lot of older people respond to this, or not even older, aging people in their, say, late 50s, saying, I would never. This is sort of extreme response. And I think that's where Vasu is also coming from, his question about, because it's suddenly as if something unheard of is being referenced to do with his life. What else would anyone want? If anybody wants to participate, please, if anybody wants to say anything to Vasu or have their own opinion on this. Yes, please, Spandana. The Spandana is the name?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you.
hi. Yes, hi. Yeah.
We ourselves, I'm 65, my hubby is 68. We
Okay.
ourselves were thinking of, looking for a assisted care living. Because see, 5 years hence, we don't know.
Yes.
And, when there is just one person also, my daughter's there with me, but, we want that even they should have their freedom,
Correct. Correct.
like not to be imposed, like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what. So
Yeah.
I didn't see anything wrong in this. If you have
Mm.
some nice facility available,
Yeah.
in fact, we found a place in Gujarat, and though it's a flat, but we have friends close by.
Ah.
So just recently, just 6 months back, we decided to have one over there. So in
Uh-huh.
fact, we were looking for assisted care living.
Okay.
But then, as you said, the community part also comes in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we wanted a place in Gujarat.
Huh.
So we
Huh.
did see assisted care living in Gujarat as well. And, as you said, there are pros and cons, and you have to know what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, it might be difficult for people to get mixed up with new people,
Yes.
adjusting a new environment. And I
Barabar.
don't see anything wrong with these children because, see, then they are at peace. Because the best part about this assisted care living is that medical facilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first thing I give priority to.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Ah,
Quick response. All of that. Yeah.
because see, US and Canada and all, at least 24 hours is the earliest that you can come.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
That's a
Yes.
minimum I'm saying. It's more than
Correct.
that. It's the
Correct.
minimum.
Correct. Correct.
So in the meantime, what happens? So at least you have assisted care living
Absolutely.
and you are looked after in the first
Yes.
place.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see anything wrong. And see the age factor. Earlier
Hmm.
60, oh, he's 60, oh, he's dead. So we see, हाँ 60 साल का हो गया था.
Correct.
But it's not that way anymore. It's
No. No.
90.
No.
So,
No. No.
so it's after 60, at least 70, we should think of an option. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Correct. Yes.
So nothing
Yes.
wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that so many facilities are coming up is also a
Yes.
sign that this is very much a demand and a way to go.
And as you said, it's not an old age home, it's an
No.
assisted care living. Yeah.
Oh,
And you
correct.
have all the facilities. As you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
musicians come, you may
Yeah.
go out, you have that facility to and fro buses away.
Yes.
So your life
Yes.
is not coming to a full stop.
Not. No. No.
Yeah, you are going to, face a new this thing, a new lease in the life. But
Yes.
that's
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to accept that and go ahead. So even our
Yeah.
kids are at peace, that our parents are also at peace.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
So
Yes.
that is the
Yeah.
biggest thing
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel. It's,
No, no, definitely, definitely. I am all for it. But as I said, it does not necessarily, it's not a compulsory thing that, for some people it doesn't work,
Yes.
or they have some halfway house, like you said, you buy a
Ha.
place closer to your daughter, or you buy a place closer to your friends, you share some facilities, you have a
Hmm.
buddy system where you keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
Like this place where I am currently staying, they have people who live alone. There is a call every evening once from the administration, from the
Okay.
chap, just sab theek hai na kind of call,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So which you may
Mm.
make that system living elsewhere also. But to say that you will lose your freedom, I don't count this as losing your freedom if somebody is calling you and checking on you, you know.
Oh,
So
they have to, that's their responsibility. What
yeah,
if you have fallen? How are you
yeah,
going to convey to them
yes,
that I have fallen?
correct, correct, correct.
So
Yeah.
they have to, so I don't think that their privacy is being,
No, 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 it's not. It's not. In fact, because these stray doorbells and all are out, they have to it only when somebody is expected, your doorbell will ring. Instead of
ring.
just random people ringing your doorbell and you wondering who it is and all of this also, you know.
So,
So
and as you said, we get more time to read. As you said, there are no libraries around.
yeah, yeah.
Lots of
The
things you can
facilities.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. Yes.
a happy place.
I want to add something to this.
Please do.
My name is Alka Saxena. Hi, Spandana. What I want to say is that I also have one daughter who's married and living abroad. I
Okay.
and my husband, we both live in Bombay. We have a place of our own. We are living here comfortably. But we have already booked a place in Lonavala, where
Hmm.
it is like a studio apartment. So that is booked and reserved for us. Whenever we want to go there, we
Yeah.
have to give them 3 months notice so
Hmm.
that our particular room, which has now been let out to somebody else, is
Hmm.
vacated, painted, and freshened up and kept ready for us.
Oh, wonderful.
Other than that,
Ah,
every month we can go and spend 2 days
okay.
there and come. And
Okay.
there they have a community kitchen where
Ah,
they have all the meals. In your studio apartment, you have a small thing kitchenette where you
yes.
can cook if you want to. You can eat there if you want to. They have all the medical facilities. They have a small
Hmm.
temple. They have gardens. They have
Hmm.
library.
Hmm.
They have other activities going on like yoga, music,
Right.
all
Right.
the functions and festivals celebrated, birthdays celebrated. And like when I go there, I meet the neighbors, talk to them. There are a lot of people have, some of them have kept their own cars also there, so they
Correct.
can drive if they want to.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
not restricted, and they
Correct.
can go. They are living there. I know of a lady who's conducting classes from there. She does
Mm.
online teaching. So there
Mm.
are people doing all kinds of work also from there,
Mm.
and the community. But they give place only to people, I think 55 and above.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
So
Most
it
of
is
these
only that
places.
issue.
Most of
And
these
it's now
places.
a place there. And
Yeah.
one of my husband's friends had come from Delhi. And fortunately or unfortunately, that day we did not get any accommodation in Lonavala. So we use those 2 days that we get there to stay there. And his wife has been telling him something about like this, but he was very, very hesitant to think about assisted living or senior citizen home. And then he went and spent the night there with us. And then he has also accepted the idea and liked
Converted.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. He said, oh, is this I never thought of. This is very doable, and I think
Oh,
I'd like to
so,
do that.
so Alka, you also have experienced that people have such strange misconceptions that have
Yes.
come from not even real experience. They've come
It is
from
from the society,
yeah,
the
yeah,
way people talk about it, and
yeah.
it, even now, some people look down upon it.
Uh-huh.
They think
Yes,
their families are not taking care, and
yes.
that is why people are there.
This is the
And
biggest
that is
fear.
something which they feel ashamed of.
Yes. This is
That is
people's biggest fear. But the ones who've uh, crossed over to doing it
Mm.
are really, at some level, I feel I have the best of both worlds also.
Yes,
Because nobody's
like,
locked them away from the other world, no? There's
you
nobody
know, it,
locked them away
like
from
this place I have been, I've
Mm.
seen there. I can go and do my things when I want to. I cook if I feel like. Others, I go and eat in the community kitchen. And
Correct.
for festivals and all, I don't have to bother about making something special or doing
Correct.
something. They're doing it.
Yeah,
I can go
yeah,
and be party to it.
yeah.
See, down the years, I may not have the energy to do it also.
Absolutely.
Diwali, I have to cook so
Yeah.
much, I have to decorate the house, this,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah.
that is taken care of by somebody.
Yes.
And we are there to participate and do our little bit, whatever we can.
Correct, correct,
So I
correct.
think it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Alka. Thanks for your
Thank you.
input. Yeah, I hope Vasu, I don't see him here, but I hope he's going to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sure he would. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, great. Next, I will tell you people what the next theme is for our next session. Today, I want to stop just 5 minutes earlier because there's a lot of gadwad on the roads for some Shiv Jayanti or something, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
rushing to a music program. So
Where are you going, Wali?
no, I'm in Pune.
Okay.
I'm in Pune. So I'm going actually as the crow flies quite close, but because
Fine.
of all this
Traffic.
road pe bhakti, we might get there. So yeah, the next week's theme is finding that balance between being helpful to your grown children and yet remaining uninterfering. That very very careful
Interesting topic.
seesaw. Yeah.
Balance,
Yeah.
to find a balance in that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That balance. That's what the question that has come is about. And we'll explore that next week.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice
Lovely.
Look
talking
forward
to
to
you.
seeing you
Thanks
next
for
week.
your inputs. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Krish.
Bye.
Krish,
I'll see
I'm
you on
signing
Saturday.
off. Sorry.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Krish. I'm signing off. Bye.
Bye, man.
Bye.